Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm really, truly amazed. Before I start, I think I have to start reversing my speech in the other order, because look at the crowd we have here today. I mean, to get people out on a Sunday is not easy. To get people out on a Sunday afternoon, especially after a heavy meal, is even more difficult. So I think every one of you all should have a round of applause from me and our board of directors for coming here today. YB Dato Sri Utama, thank you very much for gracing our occasion. We've had you here before, and we like you to attend our functions, because every time you come you leave us with a nice big fat check. So I'm reversing my speech in the other order to give you a bit of time to think about this. Shri Rajiv Ahir from the Indian High Commission, thank you for joining us. Dato Sushila Menon, Tan Sri Rabindra Menon, Puan Sri Sukumari Shekhar, Professor Emeritus Dato Kumar Das, Mr. Rajasingham and Ms. Elizabeth Lee, thank you very much for joining us in this evening to be our distinguished judges for our future debate series. Our donors and benefactors, thank you for supporting us all these years and coming and joining us. Our affiliates, we have a record 38 affiliate presidents and vice presidents who are seated here and who have joined us. These are the branches all the way from Penang and JB. We have a team that has attended. Thank you very much for coming. Last but not least, the parents and the students. We have 7 tables on my left, which are filled with the 24 award recipient students, whom I hope to spend a bit more time later. And the parents, thank you very much for taking your time to come and join us this afternoon. We also have some members of press and our board of directors here today. What can I say? AMMA Foundation was started 35 years ago. We've been through a very, very long journey, and in the last 8 years, I think we managed to shift everything into gear. We've been handing out approximately 300,000 to 700,000 ringgit a year in interest-free study loans. Let me say that number again, because I'm doing a bit of marketing here. 300,000 to 700,000 ringgit a year, and all of it comes from our donors. So you can imagine this is a difficult job our board and directors have, and once a year we have an event like this, and fortunately or unfortunately you're in this room and we have the locks to those doors. So we will be doing a little bit of fundraising, ladies and gentlemen, to see how you can support in any way, form and manner. We have a big project with AMMA, which is a community center project where we've got some seed money, and we're trying to get that going over the next 5 years, and that should give us a larger base of donations coming on a regular stream. Until that happens, it will be very difficult for us in the next 2 years, and we project to probably have zero in the bank in about 24 months if we don't raise any more money. So what we have to do is lower down our study loans. We used to give out 400,000 ringgit new loans every year. Last year and this year we are only going to limit it to about 200,000 ringgit. Let me tell you, the students who receive the loans are not Malayalis only. They are any Malaysian who goes to our website and applies and meets the criteria. We also have a very interesting program that we're doing with 2 or 3 organizations, which I'll tell you more about, which is moving from loans into scholarships. We have 13 board of directors. Most of them are here today. They're all volunteers We have to force them to get out on a Monday evening or a Saturday morning and come and attend our meetings. We have KPIs. Yes, we have KPIs. We have annual reports published on our website. We're probably the only foundation in Malaysia that does that. Our audited accounts and annual report are on our website. We have a very strict governance policy. Our treasurer and our finance side is, I think all I can say is we probably run this like a listed company. In addition, we do these excellence awards in addition to giving out loans. And this year we have 24 students. In previous years we've had up to 40 to 50 students, mainly from the Indian community and mainly from our Samajams who look forward to this event. Now the interesting thing is this year we have 24. Now why does this number drop? Number one, yes, we are running out of money, but we increased the bar. This year we are only looking at 9 A's and above. Last few years we've been looking at 7 A's and above. So the students that you will see on stage here, Dato Sri, are 9 A's and above. We even have one gentleman who scored 12 A's. So, yes, I think they deserve a round of applause. So in addition to giving them a cash award, a plaque, a certificate, and the opportunity to come to this event and take your photos with all our lovely people here, we're doing two special things today for the 24 students. We have managed to do a tie-up with Tan Sri Nanalingam's foundation, which he started, called Indus Foundation. And he has given us the assurance that if these are the best students who are associated with us, we would be able to work out scholarships based on certain criteria of up to 100,000 ringgit per student. So if you are interested in a scholarship and if you're unable to find the resources to do something, please come and see us, because I think we've got some of the highest results in SPM sitting in this room, and we'd like to see how we can work together on that. The second thing is we also have a smaller scholarship within AMMA Foundation, which is the VD Nair Scholarship, and we have a grant which we give out to those based on merit and needy, up to 30,000 ringgit a year. So we're moving away from the loans to scholarships for those who are keen, and please have a look at our websites. We have a lot of information there. In addition to loans and scholarships, we also started the Right to Learn program, where we have a whole table here on my left. I think it's table 23. You'll probably be wondering, what are these small kids doing in a function like this? Let me tell you a bit about this program. We have the founder of the project, the Right to Learn project, which is Mrs. Yans. She's here. Mrs. Yans, can you just stand up for a moment? She started this program on her own. AMMA Foundation supports it. Our office is the Right to Learn program as well, and we provide the facilities. We give them all the funding that is necessary, and we have the volunteers who are here as well. These students come from orphanages as well as underprivileged homes where they need to improve in English, science, Bahasa and maths. It's a free tuition center, which is what it was started out with Mrs. Yans, but I don't think it's a tuition center anymore, because I think it moves into leadership, it moves into transformation. And this ties to what is going to happen later on in our future debate series, where we are talking about the National Higher Education Blueprint and how is that going to transform Malaysians. So the Right to Learn program requires an annual funding of 50 to 100,000 ringgit. It is a very exciting program. I do urge all of you to come over to our office in Taman Tun and visit the center, and you'll have a better idea. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in very turbulent times in Malaysia right now. I call it a time when we are in a pivot. And this is very important because it relates to our two topics we're talking today. One is education, and the other one is youth. The way we approach this, in my humble opinion, is what each and every one of us does in the next few years. How do we make a difference, like what Dato Sushila was talking about, and doing the right thing? We are inundated with messages, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter. There's so much of information being thrown at us. But what we have lost, in my opinion, is our values. So we need to be very, very clear in what we tell our children. What's in the education system? What's in our home? What's in our friends' circle? And how does all this come together? So whilst you're listening to the debate later, do ponder on this, because we want to pass the right messages down to the next generation. I do feel that our focus from giving out study loans and scholarships is slowly moving into what I would call leadership programs. And this is also what is in the 11 Malaysia plan, which is drawn up by the government, which is moving from plenary sessions in classrooms to more entrepreneurial learning. Now this is difficult to teach, it's difficult to implement, so we need to understand this further. So my focus and sort of message that I would tell all the students out there and the parents is start thinking about how we move from the traditional way of teaching into things that really make an impact. Because trust me, the Gen X, Y are very difficult to handle as well. So we must understand how they think, and we will be able to move forward. So enough about the boring speech. Let me give you some good news. The other day, we got a call from Mr. Velaiden, and he came over with his son and son's wife, who's based in US, and he said, we want to know what you guys do at AMMA Foundation. I said, okay, come over in the evening. Nathan and a few others, we were there. And he said, tell me about what you do, and we explained all the things, and we showed him all the reports and so on. And he said he was really impressed. So he took out his checkbook and wrote us a check for 103,000 ringgit. So Mr. Balan and the father, Mr. Velaiden, I was really shocked. I thought he was going to give us 5,000 ringgit, and I would have been super happy with that. I said, number one, how do you afford this? And number two, why are you doing it? So he said, in 1988, he took a loan from AMMA Foundation of 2,000 ringgit because they emigrated to US and Canada. And this was the funds that made the father able to put him into university or something like that. And today he's one of the most successful CEOs in America. He's flying around in his private jet and so on. And that was an amazing story. So Tan Sri, I think what you started doing with the foundation, I think now has started to show some real results, because we're starting to see a cycle where what you do and who you're impacting, and all these students we're giving the awards to, hopefully they will be able to come back and contribute back to this, so it becomes sustainable. So that's great news. I mean, our board is, we were really shocked with it, and we hope to actually have Mr. Velaiden here today to sort of say a few words, but I think he's in the midst of traveling. He just turned 80, the family is done. So on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank Mr. Velaiden and his family officially, and hope to have more donors like that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the boring speech. I would urge you all to stay to 6:30 because we've got an exciting debate after the awards, and we've got a very exciting launch of our sports youth program where we are raising funds for. Today we will be raising jointly with AMMA, and the Right to Play is a program which stems out of the Right to Learn but focusing on sports. So please stay on till 6:30 and enjoy the evening, and if you do feel like giving us something, please do. We will be sending out some forms later, and spread the word. We are on Facebook, so go down to Facebook and like us and get all the updates from there. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the evening.